I'm pulling this sucker out. Let me hook up the cable here to get the better internet. I think we are live on the YouTube.
We're live. Yeah, we're live on both right now. It says, "Good evening."
Right.
Oh, here we go. Trying something new. All right. Good evening, traditional inkers and burnt coffee drinkers. Welcome to episode 43 of I'd Rather Be Motivated with David Fleming and myself, Scott O Green. We are the duders behind I'd Rather Be Drawing.com. And this is our weekly art check-in show. And we're first-time users on StreamYard. And David has it set up. We're trying some advanced stuff here tonight. We're trying to broadcast to both our Facebook page for I'd Rather Be Drawing, as well as our YouTube channel for I'd Rather Be Drawing. So welcome both crowds to, like I said, episode 43 of I'd Rather Be Motivated. How's it going, David?
Yeah, it's going pretty good. Like you said, it's been a rough couple of weeks, if you want to call it that, for me, just trying to figure out how to replace sort of what we had going on there with the Hangouts. And then that got deleted on us, which was kind of lame. But then I had to kind of do some research and be a whole new human, trying to figure out exactly how to get on here and still do the live talk with the two of us.
Yeah, the blooper reel last week would have been a good one. We couldn't really figure out for quite a while if we were live, if we weren't, and just kind of faked our way through as we're doing tonight. So
yeah, and then
go ahead.
I was just saying, like, we got to the end of it. It told us we were live. We were just like babbling about nothing, and then it was like, I got like this thing on my computer that was like, your encoder is overloaded. You are not live. And then it like posted and was like, no info. I was like, great. But I was like, it'd be hilarious if this posted. It was literally just us being like, are we live? Hello? Anybody there? Anybody there?
A little message on mine popped up that actually said, psych. So, you know, you do your best. But so this is our weekly art check show. Anybody out there, if you're venturing into a creative venture, and yeah, you need accountability, do an art check. Grab a friend and get together each week, every couple days, and go over stuff. David, before we roll into the art check, where can we find you when we're not here on these two stations?
When you're not here checking me out on Facebook or on the on the Facebook, you check me out on the Instagram. I really wish we could send it to the Instagram. That is where you'll find me being the most active, is over there posting the art and stuff. I always post it to Facebook as well, but Art of Mr. Fleming, that's where you find me over on the Instagram, and then Mr. David Fleming is the Facebook.
Cool. As for me, on Instagram is also where I'm quite active. So you can find me at Mr. Green Draws, mr.greendraws. All right, man. Shall we just roll into it? Progress, problems, and plans. All right. So it's been a while. We haven't really. We've been getting together each week. That things haven't gone quite right, and doing the art check here for you guys, we still have been getting together and just checking in on everything. But it has been a while with the rigid structure, so we'll just kind of do our best here. So, what's been your progress over the last little while, David?
Yeah, man. That is hilarious. You said that, and I was like, yeah, what even was our, like, what we said we would do versus, like, what we have done or anything like that.
Anything you say will probably be new to these folks.
Right, yeah. I'm just trying to think of, like, what we had for goals and all that kind of stuff. I do know making that image that I've been posting all the progress of has been a big goal of mine. I've been making that poster as a sort of like cover image for the whole first 3 issues of Analog Missions. I got it inked, I've got it flatted, colored. I even made a fun gray tone version of it, and now I'm kind of actually rendering it, adding like shadow tones and like kind of making it into a print for that kind of purposes. And then I will eventually slap behind it like the logo, the Analog Missions logo, and it will kind of exist. When I went to go start submitting Analog Missions for, I guess you'd say like digital submissions to like Comixology and stuff like that, it wanted a what they call a cover photo, that they were like, it's not necessarily for one issue, it's for like the series as a whole. And then I realized, hey, I don't actually have one of those. That's a really cool idea. And so it kind of sparked me to kind of like play with that idea of like what happens when I do all the characters all on one page. And so that's basically what I have been working on for the past 2 weeks, because it has been it's been quite a work of art in terms of just like there's, I can't even think, 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, like 9 representations of characters on the page. And so the rendering of that in terms of like getting it in digitally and stuff like that too has been a lot of work as well. So
yeah, and then so and you incorporate that in, just trying to figure out all this stuff for our show here. You've definitely been keeping busy.
And that hit me, and then it was like, okay, now we got to figure out exactly how I'm gonna go live and keep this show rolling, and that has to like cut into the other stuff because it was like sometimes we end up having to take like a week off just because of like work schedules and stuff, but like more than a week off is not like, I mean, I've followed shows where they take a couple weeks off and then you kind of almost forget about them and stuff, and I don't blame anybody for that kind of thing because I do it myself, but it was like we got to make sure the duders know like we're not dead and we're just trying to figure it out.
For sure, and we're back. So let's see here. We kind of broke up our stuff into comic, artist, and I'd rather be drawing, and I feel like that really kind of covers everything right there. Have you been working on any like commissions for customers or any stuff like that?
Actually, no, and I've really been enjoying that. I feel like I almost always have something like that in the background. I mean, it's not a bad thing, obviously, but it's been nice, and I kind of am actually in a place where I think I'm going to say no to somebody unless their drawing is just like a fun little quick like ink or something like that, because that takes away from the comic. And now that I'm in August again, this is about the time. I remember last year is when I started Analog August, which is actually when I first started the writing of the entire idea for this issue and stuff. Mm-hmm. And then I want this next one to come out actually next year a little bit earlier than like a little ahead of time, if you want to call it that, than the last one came out. So I'm kind of in a mode where like I think for the rest of the year, like it's all analog missions all the way through kind of thing.
That's pretty cool. Well, I feel like especially with you starting back to school as an art teacher, like that part of your identity as an artist is kind of a big part of everything. And when you are in that mode, it does seem to focus you towards this other stuff as well. So I even feel like as far as like the artist checkbox of everything, you kind of going back to school and teaching again covers that pretty well.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
I try.
Away with words. So that puts it off to you then, right?
Okay. So yeah, let's see here. It is weird. It's been a while. So for the comic, I'm still writing that guy. I kind of came up with my B story that you interweave through. So I've been putting that through. It's still taking me a while, but I'm just kind of okay with that process right now. I want a script out of this. I want to be able to hold the script as a fixed thing. So I'm trying to be patient with that, especially with everything that's been going on. I'm trying to like, hit all these other boxes. I'll start drawing when I start drawing, As far as the artist side of things, I finished my commission. I think I kind of had it mostly done for last week to show, but then some touch-ups the next day. But one of my last commission pieces for the folks at work that supported werewolves and unicorns and other mythical creatures. By the way, we got like some letters in late from folks we had a letters column on that for the Kickstarter. We got some things in late and some responses, and we just want to make sure to include everybody. So it really looks like we have everything at this point. So if you did contribute, I think it'll definitely be sooner than later that all of those are going to be coming to you. So just as a heads up. Where was I going with that, David? Why did I even mention that?
Well, you were talking about progress and stuff, so I'm assuming maybe there's some progress to talk about with werewolves and unicorns. Maybe.
Oh yeah, just that like that was kind of the commissions I was doing was promises to like coworkers for supporting that. So I got those wrapped up and inadvertently kind of picked up another commission for somebody at work that'll be cool. And I'll be starting on that one next. But in the meantime, I'm starting inking right now as we're talking. I don't know if it's showing up here at all, but doing kind of a Hellboy Beetlejuice crossover thing in the same way that I did the Bone and Gorillas crossover.
Ooh, yeah.
So having some fun with it. It's kind of like weird and oversized at different weird parts, and I didn't know if I should adjust, but there was something kind of off about it in a fun way. So I think I'm just going to go ahead with it and see what happens out of trying something new. But and then for I'd Rather Be Drawing, I have so this Wednesday, I'll have my first episode up of Read More Comics, my new segment. And on the first episode, It just kind of highlights what I love about comics, which is a diversity in story and all kinds of different sorts of books. And so I just kind of show you guys what I kind of come across in my travels. So for the first one will be this old Ninja Turtles book I picked up. I was a fan when I was a kid, but didn't read a whole lot. I've never read a whole bunch of manga at all, so a starting point for me was Akira. And then, of course, for some independent artist love, and for our channel here, going with Analog Missions. So I break them down, just kind of talk about them. Don't want to ruin stories, but do a bit of a flip through and what struck me about the stories and why I like them, and hope that at some point some of these things will resonate with the listeners out there, and you'll contact your local artists or independent artists, or go to your local comic shop and get some awesome books, because there's all different kinds for all different people. So that'll be coming out Wednesday, and the reason for Wednesday is Wednesday's new comic book day. So hopefully people will get inspired and go to their local places and support them. So yeah, I'm excited about that. Started going to problems, but I'll wait.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are kind of like the big things on my plate right now. So
yeah, that's awesome. I love that segment idea. I've been waiting for that to come out, because I do love that idea of putting up sort of like the local things, the indie things, all that kind of stuff that you like to read, and like throwing it out there for people. Because I mean, I'm sure it's already exists, and if I found the right channel, it'd be there. But some for our viewers to find the rad stuff.
Well, and there's so much good stuff out there, and I love the big two. I love Image, but there's all sorts of other stuff as well. And to open up the show, I really kind of talk about that and why comics are awesome. And I'm really a firm believer that there's a comic out there for your grandma, for your daughter, for the guy down the street. I don't know. There's just one out there for everybody. There's all kinds of different stories, and so I released. I don't know if anybody saw, but on my Instagram page, I kind of recorded me, like a video of me recording the audio for a voiceover portion of it, and I just ended up kind of writing out this whole long, hopefully not too long, but this speech about it and everything. But yeah. So hopefully it's a fun thing. Definitely, hopefully direct some people towards cartoonist kayfabe as well, because it's based off of me wanting to share about comics, and then just kind of get excited. I have gotten excited from what I've been seeing from them, and just want to kind of participate in the community. So yeah, I hope people like it. If I share what I'm seeing and you share what you're seeing, and everyone kind of shares what comics they're getting, it's going to get somebody else excited about it. So what problems have you run up against lately, we'll say?
Sleep.
Sleep, straight sleep.
Sleep is a problem. Yeah, just like you said, back to school and just all that kind of, like tonight I even kind of feel a little bit out of it, because I am just like, I'm a bit exhausted right now, and staying up past 9 is super real for me when it's during the school year right here. So I get real spacey, especially like in the drawing right now, because I'm actually trying to figure this out a little bit here while I'm talking, and it's distracting. So I actually kind of probably should just put this down for a second. But yeah, as you can tell just from the way I'm talking too, it's just the biggest problem definitely for me has just been sleep. Like just catching back up, getting back in routine. Like after a summer, like it's awesome having the teacher thing in summer, but then like it is a really weird thing to try to get yourself back in the routine of everything. And you can just kind of get lost in it, and then you're like, oh crap, and then you're doing life, and then you're like, oh, where's all my time for drawing? I used to have so much of it. Where'd it go? So it's just like remembering where all my old drawing time used to be, because you talk about that all the time. I'm really good at scheduling, but I like plan ahead for it. So I just kind of got to get back in that zone, and I haven't been in that zone for like a really long time. So I got to get back into like, oh yeah, I have free time at X time, and I got to make sure that if I don't draw during that random free time, I'm not drawing today kind of thing. It doesn't happen as much in the summer, but during the school year, it's like I've got my times I can draw, and I got to make sure I use them.
That makes sense. Another case of the rules, the parameters kind of, giving you what you need to make sure you get it done.
Yeah. And right now I'm trying to figure out how to do this in my own style and at the same time copy a thing. So, did you ever watch Invader Zim when you were a kid?
I didn't, but I've been seeing a lot of stuff about it. It's
There
like
is a
new thing
there's a
again.
there's a new Netflix movie, and Ellie is loving it, and I'm loving that Ellie is loving it because I used to freaking love that show. There's this hilarious intro, and it's in like an anime style,
Mhm.
and it was like cracking me up, and so now I'm like trying to do my own sort of like thing off of that because it was the best ever. There's a bunch of like old Nickelodeon shows that were like my jam that are like have like brand new movies on Netflix for kids to watch. I kind of love it. Being a parent right now is actually just way too much fun because even though I don't always love it, the rehashing thing of like things that have already been done, there's just really fun. Like all the shows on Netflix right now are like, oh my god, I love that show. My kid is totally gonna watch that show, and they're doing it on purpose. Like it's definitely the point of it.
Reliving it. I mean, your generation now having kids, so all your cartoons coming back too.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, I just want to check real quick. You're kind of watching the Facebook side of things because we're hoping to broadcast there, and I'm sort of watching the YouTube side of things. And we got Squatchy and Ace and Red. Who else we got here? How much? Yeah, man. We got the heavy hitters here. Glad to see you guys. Just want to say what's up. Acknowledge you. I see you. Looking at the wrong thing. There's a lot going on. Anybody over there in Facebook land?
Yeah, it looks like we got Hannah. She's one of my big supporters. She just commented a few minutes ago. Don't know if she's still in there. It's been kind of in and out. Like I said, I think it's like really new for people to see me doing the Facebook thing, but I'm really hoping we can do it consistently. We'll start using our page hopefully if this works, and then we can share it out that way. But just been a little bit of an in and out traffic all night. No one's really sticking around too long.
Well, very cool. Anyone who swings by at all, we appreciate it. If you have any questions, throw them out in the chat, and we'll try to make sure we see it there.
Chatting it up.
Toss. Let's have a nice chat. What do you say? So yeah, as far as my problems, I haven't been speaking clearly. What's up, Gamer B? Thanks for joining. So my sleep kind of is gotten regulated pretty well. Work got real crazy. I've been training a new person while a new person has been leaving, and there's just been a decent amount of stress there lately, which as you're dealing with the stress and you're training somebody and you're trying to keep your cool because you got a new person and you don't want to freak them out, coming home pretty exhausted. And then just everything else going on. It's been a little bit rough lately. That can be a little bit defeating when work is that stressful at times. But hey, that's something that we all deal with. And if you use it right, it's good motivation for kind of getting back to the artwork, which I've been getting down on because it feels like I'm overextending and spreading myself too thin with different art things. But they all really need to be moving forward. They just need to be. So whether it's just more self-discipline or whatever, I just, got to do better. And I think a lot of it is organization. I think organization will help me a lot. Yes. So I've been, I got my, notebook for our show here, our notebook for tech learning here, my notebook for tech learning here. I've got my notebook for scripting. I kind of just had everything everywhere, notes and sketchbooks. And as long as I had some sort of paper with me, I was cool. But I'm trying to kind of go back to school about this stuff a little bit more. And because, I got to still get better at all the basics. Plus, I got to start figuring out, the business side of things and my future and internet stuff and T-shirt logo designs. And I have been working on that stuff as well, and that's been another problem of just when I finally get the time to sit down. I think I've kind of started to find a couple of videos and a couple of resources that will help me, but just kind of weeding your way through all of the garbage and kind of knowing where to look.
Yes, that is super real.
I mean, it's kind of learning like just how to do research again. I feel like at a certain time when I was writing tons of papers and researching for different projects, I got good at finding the information I needed in books, the right type of books and where to look and what to look for. But out in, interweb land. It's just kind of like data and everything from every place, and everyone has a video about something, and you got to wait a long time sometimes to learn that, well, that's not helpful. But whether it's kind of, it's you got to earn your stripes, I feel like, with the digital stuff. And I didn't learn it when I was younger, so I got to kind of, pay the price now. And that's okay. That sounds like dramatic and everything. What I mean is like what most people say is there's no shortcut. You got to kind of like spend all day long trying to find this one function. And as soon as you find it, it makes your life easier from then on out, and you're never going to forget where that function is. But if someone just tells you where it is, you'll have to go back and ask that, where was that again? How do I do this? Which I do enough with stuff, so yeah. Anyway, that's what I've been kind of butting my head up against a little bit.
Those are like super real struggle. The struggle of like knowing what's worth listening to and what's not worth listening to is super real. That's like, I always talk about like loving the internet and loving like if you just want to learn something, like nothing is stopping you or anything like that. But I guess if anything was to stop you, it'd be that, right? Like not knowing what's genuine and what to listen to because you might be just so new at something kind of thing.
Well, in those rabbit holes for a lot of people I know, and not just old people, but those rabbit holes that the internet can lead you down, and when you're just trying to get a simple answer to something, and we probably just get spoiled. We want to just ask our phone a question and it just have a clear answer, I suppose. But sometimes those rabbit holes that you kind of go down just really get people like tense and angry, and they realize that, an hour of their life has just been sucked out just trying to figure out one simple thing. And it's hard to have that patience sometimes. That's where I'm at, I think, where it's just, you got to have patience with this stuff. And if I try to force it, then I get angry, and then I don't want to be on the computer at all, but I want to make stuff. And if I figure out how to use this tool better to make stuff, then I'll enjoy it.
Yeah, that's definitely real. I just wanted to mention it before it went too far. Hannah over here in the Facebook chat said she missed a chance to get a copy of your book, Scott, but she's wondering if there's still a chance that she can get a copy from you once they come in.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll kind of just make it known on the Facebook thing. Are we on your Facebook art channel, David, or are we on?
Yeah, we're through mine.
No problem. Hannah, if you follow on the I'd Rather Be Drawing one for sure Facebook channel, I'll post there once I have books in, and there will be some for sale. I'm getting a bit more of a quantity than other folks. There honestly won't be a whole lot that I'm going to be selling online, just because it's kind of a cool product that I want to really kind of start tabling at conventions again. So I want to make sure to have books to take for that. But yeah, it's not too late. Just hit me up on there, Hannah, and it should be a couple weeks, I think. I'm not sure. I don't want to say because I'm not exactly sure. But things are in motion, and but yeah, it's never too late. So I'll keep posted there and holler. But so how about plans, man? You went over your problem. Yeah, sleep, tech, cool. How about plans?
Plans being definitely finishing this thing. I don't want to sound like I'm annoyed with it or anything at this point, but like I'm ready to be done with it. Like I want to have it. I want to put. What I really want to do is I want to get into the meat of the comic. Like it's time. I have penciled a few of the first pages and kind of done roughs, and I've got it all written, and like I've got lots of outline and planning and stuff done. But I want it to be like I want to be in a spot where like that's just it. Like I'm just everything I'm posting for the next like until the end of the year basically. Besides the random doodle here and there for when I need to take a break, it's just going to be all comic. So I'm really excited to get.
So you're referring to like your big team pick, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So under comic, team pick done.
Yes, comic team pick done. It's like I don't know if you've ever done like a full rendering of like not just like one character, but like of a bunch of characters. Mm-hmm. But for some reason, for me, it just slows me down exponentially. Like you'd think it'd just be like whatever, it's the same. It's just one piece, but like for some reason, my flow ends up feeling like it's exactly this like I just did times 8 different drawings. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's a reason why comic book artists on team books people have, artists seem to have a bit more respect for those artists, because that's tough, man. That's a lot of things to account for. Everyone's got to look good.
Yeah.
You have to know who everybody is. I did that one for October, like a kind of mock-up cover a while back that I really ended up enjoying, but that one even I'd kind of pictured in my head and then couldn't logistically figure out how to actually physically make them all fit on the page for a while. Yeah, it's challenging for sure.
I'm definitely ready to wrap it up and call it a deal. But like I said, like I'm loving it. It's like tons of fun, and I don't like to. Sometimes you get into that rant, and it just seems like you're like saying like you're not enjoying it or whatever. But it's a really cool piece. It really feels like a very defining piece in terms of like I've learned a lot from it, and I think that's a big reason why it's been taking me so long. I've been kind of trying out some new things with it too, like new like coloring techniques and stuff like that. So I think that's been a pretty big part of why it's taken me so long as well. But yeah, and then so yeah, I'd say just finish that. I want to say like and then start on the next thing, but I think a good goal is just to say like I've just at least finished that, and then by the time we talk again, I am ready to, or I have maybe made some marks back on the pages. My goal for that, and I know I'm talking way ahead of it, but like I'm just gonna pencil this whole month. And then I'm going to save the inking for my Inktober again, because that was really fun last year. It was like a really good motivator to have saved all that stuff. And
I did that for the Isabel Crane comic, and that felt good. A panel a day even. If you can page a day, that's amazing. But I kind of cut it to like a panel a day if I can finish it.
Yeah, I'll definitely do some kind of thing like panel a day or something like that. Yeah, I'm not going to go crazy with it, because like, Inktober is awesome for me, but I in the past I've pushed my pace way too hard, and then I'm not productive at all the next following months, because then I've kind of like overworked myself for that month, and then like I don't want to do anything in the following months, and so I want to make sure that whatever I end up doing, I'm actually like stoked to keep it going.
For sure. Yep, don't need burnout going into a project, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
So team pick, artist and IRBD, did we say?
For me, artist and comic are the one and the same now.
Okay. You are merging.
Do what?
You are merging.
Yes, they are becoming one. I guess if I was to
pick like one, things like this fan art, are you carrying this through to like completion for print possible, or?
The little 5x7 that I do whenever we do the live stuff, I will always I like this is just like a 5x7. I'll definitely ink him and post him.
Well, it's not, you're still creating that to post to your account. That's the artist side. Creating content for that stuff is still existing. So.
Oh, that's true. I mean, I gotta do my I do this kind of stuff when I feel burnt on like one project. I just pull a 5x7 out and do a fun little character.
That's why I think it's cool to kind of have this like three-pronged effect or whatnot, is because of that. But so what's it? This is the Invader Zim guy. What's his name? Is this
Invaders? Yeah, this is Invader Zim. So I'll show you the. This is like what the character looks like.
Oh, awesome!
And then in the intro, there's like this hilarious like anime style like little intro between the two characters, and like so I'm kind of like looking at that in this one and kind of making my own little like style out of it, because I loved that. It was hilarious because like this is the funny joke of the show is that like he is like an alien who like constantly tries to take over the world, but he's constantly blowing it. And so there's like a really funny like seeing him like super anime serious like looking badass is like totally not his character. I couldn't not to draw it.
All right, and then is there anything that you want? I won't press it too much that you want for IRBD.
I actually realized I got distracted the last other week, and I didn't actually do one of the things I said I was going to do. So maybe I should put that on the list. Since I don't have to worry about this, like this seems to be working, so we're not going to mess with something that isn't broken at this point.
For sure.
I never updated the like all of our different things that post, and I like to change the cover to have that really nice, like with the little fade of over our faces thing,
Cool.
And so I want to go through.
Or did you, have we sent out the newsletter?
Ooh, you know what? I have to double check that. I thought I scheduled it. I might have to just jump through and see if I didn't push a button or something. I'm going to put that. I'm actually just going to text myself right now because that I'll send out tomorrow for sure.
Okay. I was just curious. I remember sending it to you, but then I'm not sure if I always catch that when it actually sends. So just curious.
Yeah, no, I'm actually glad you said that on here. I'm glad you put me on the spot in front of everybody here.
Honestly, just remembered it. Like I had typed up my entry, and then it took me like a week and a half to actually send it to you, and I was just like, "What the hell?"
Yeah, no, I don't know. I don't know why we're so bad at that, because I would definitely say if there's anything that is like our weakness, it's like we have every intention of sending out a monthly letter, and then it just like it doesn't happen.
Well, when we have something huge, you know,
that's true. Yeah, yeah.
Cool, and I think we kind of feel like, okay, well, we don't want to bother you, but it's like we should just, you know, just make it more fun. And oh man, maybe okay, sorry, I just got an idea about something, but that would have led to a rabbit hole. Don't worry.
No, let's do it. I mean, we're in rabbit hole mode here now because I think we're done with the check-in and we're just kind of in the we're in the conversation half now.
Well, I got to do my plans real quick, but I should have just let it go by because I'm not sure that I have a great. I'm still just researching. I would love to be able to have just a regular I'd rather be drawing T-shirt by next Sunday up and be able to say it is for sale at such and such.
Right.
So I've been having lots of troubles, but I know it's not a complicated thing. I just got to, you know, crush through that wall that I'm running up against. So
what because we do work separately and together. What is the platform that you're trying to like? Which one are you trying to commit to?
So right now, just because it's something that I'd had from something else, where I opened up one, going, you know, I'll open up an account because I know I'll be doing this at some point, and now I'm there. Is I'm on Threadless, but I kind of figure if I can figure out how to get it ready for print there, then that knowledge should translate to the other ones, and they usually have like little tutorials, or I'm finding, you know, this is how you get your, you know, the file size ready for a T-shirt. You know, this is how you. So, kind of trying to still, you know, finally finding those avenues to learn that are steering me in a good direction. But yeah, so that's what I'm trying. But I'm cool with, you know, having I'd rather be drawing T-shirts on all of the platforms. That way, if anyone happens to search it anywhere, there's, you know, something for sale, you know.
That's actually really like why not put it on all the different ones, right?
You know, just get I'd rather be drawing wherever we can, and then, you know, have anytime we come up with a T-shirt design, put it on, especially if they're, you know, print on demand, or, you know, they will be print on demand sites, you know, if it doesn't take anything from us, or hopefully, I don't know if you got to like pay on all of them, like per listing, you know, we'll figure that stuff out, I suppose. But
no, I'm pretty sure it's not a listing fee on most of those. It's like just they take a percentage of your sales kind of thing.
Yeah, that makes much more sense. Cool. So, and then, you know, on any of them, I will want to, hopefully it'll be up, but, you know, before I brag about it too much, I'll, you know, want to order one and get it in and make sure it looks cool and everything. But before I'm like, come on, world, buy our awesome art shirt that sucks.
Right.
So, but yeah. And then once I do that, then it'll be kind of figuring out, you know, how to then just take some of my ideas from a sketchbook and translate it to Illustrator and then put it on a T-shirt. So just keep that knowledge going. But so anyway, T-shirt for that. For the artist, I'm going to finish this inking and by hand finishing up this Hellboy and Beetlejuice there. And so let's see here.
Nice.
Finish fan art print. So I just got to write this stuff down. That way I can call you on it next week. And myself too. I need the calling on. And then I hope to have this completely inked and then some pencils started on. The coworker at work is having me draw a likeness of her boyfriend as a stormtrooper holding a lightsaber, which I think is awesome. So hopefully I'll have solid pencils on that. And then as far as comic, I'm just still plugging away on this script. What I'm aiming for, so you guys know, is, and Jim Rugg is someone who I saw what he has, and like it makes sense to me. So what I'm pushing for is something beyond what I've done before for a script. But if I can do it, then I think I can make a solid thing. So I want to be able to kind of bind a book that'll have, just like a notebook, that'll have my typed out script on one side of the page, and then I can draw thumbnails on the right side of the page, flip, have the script typed out there. You can still adjust and move things around, but like I need physical things to be able to make stuff. And the writing part is harder for me because it's almost, I don't have a solid thing at the end of the day to hold on to feel good about making it,
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, that's my kind of goal through writing this and trying to revise it, is to get a solid that thing to hold. Who knows for the next comic what I'll do, but I'm going to kind of stick with that and see what happens. So I'm just going to keep ironing out my story and writing that sucker. But yeah, that's what I got, man.
I like it. That does sound like some. I like that idea too. I kind of do something kind of similar with like I need physical when I'm like when I do like thumbnailing. I do like a writing of like the whole thing as a whole, and then I go back in, and then I basically storyboard very loosely thumbnails. I go back and I draw it, and then I actually go back through it after it's like done and like printed. Like I make like a mock-up. I take sticky notes. And I literally go through and like write out dialogue and stuff, and like we'll stick it on the pages and make like a mock-up of it that I like read through and feel the flow and stuff and see if everything that I wrote actually works. And then I'm able to like right there on the page be like, oh, that sentence is stiff, that's really stiff, now move that around. Oh, actually, this is a really good sentence that I wrote, but it belongs over here. And then I'm able to like kind of play with it like in live action.
And that's similar to what I've done in the past too. And I think this basically, still that essentially, but it just kind of interjects in to kind of have the word part a bit more solid starting. Still malleable, so you can move those things around. But yeah, I kind of need to make sure I have structure on this one to kind of do what I want to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know exactly what you're
have the right limitations in place to make a better end product. I'm going for a professional thing on this one, and I'm not a professional. So
so you got to fake it as much as you possibly can.
Yeah, dude. That's what we do. You get up on stage and hope for the best, right?
Right. The quote-unquote comic stage.
So what do you think of just hopping in? You talked about Invader Zim. Anything else been inspiring you lately?
Oh,
Any
yeah.
comics you've been reading? Gotten back into anything?
So Ace made the comment here. I have not actually. I got it to answer your question, Ace. If you're still with us here, he gave me the White Knight, the DC Black Label White Knight.
Yeah, dude.
To read through,
one, like hardcover or something.
The trade, I think it would be. I don't know if it's a short encompassing story or if this is just like trade number one, but it's like trade. It looks like a trade. It's like that kind of floppy form.
Because I know there's like a new White Knight series coming out through Sean Gordon Murphy again.
This one that he gave me is by Sean Gordon Murphy.
No, I know, like all White Knights are, but I mean, like he already did one that has now been collected, and they recently sold like a hardcover of it, and because of its success, there's now like new ones that are coming out on the shelf on Wednesday.
Oh, I gotcha.
So, but if you hadn't read any of it before, I can only assume that he probably gave you the
initial.
Yeah, the initial one, which, man, I love that book so much. The art and the story. Yeah, sorry, you're talking about it. So
I haven't yet. It's on my nightstand. I haven't gotten a chance to crack it. Obviously I cracked it open because Sean Gordon Murphy's the bomb digging, and I wanted to look at that art, but I have not actually dug into the story yet.
Have you been able to kind of just take a look at his version of Batman?
Oh yeah, I follow the crap out of Sean Gordon Murphy. And
yeah, I just love it. Like where you see kind of like eyeballs, not just like white, and it's like a collar, almost like a Count Dracula cape or something. It's very just like it's a cape. I don't know, man. It's another one of those things. Like I describe Jason Latour's artwork sometimes, where it almost looks like something that shouldn't quite work, but it totally does, and it looks great. I don't know how to explain it, man, but his version of Batman, it's definitely something new and somehow feels classic. And as you read the story, I think it really exemplifies that. Because, like, the fanboy in you is going to love it because he uses the fanboy stuff that you're going to recognize as the writer of it and incorporates that in as the artist of it. That just gives you so much to look at on every page. I don't know. It's definitely a rereadable one.
I mean, you're just like talking about like what you're saying. Like Sean Gordon Murphy's so good at that kind of stuff.
Yeah, like that describes all of his stuff, doesn't it? But like,
yeah.
Now he's like in with Batman, which I think it's kind of like, I think White Knight is one of the more important sort of, like we get these offshoots of Batman stories that aren't necessarily in continuity. They're just, landmark editions. Dark Knight Returns and Killing Joke and different things. I feel like White Knight is the most recent one that's going to leave a pretty big mark in the Batman mythos. That isn't necessarily like in the mainstream storytelling, but an artist kind of doing his own thing with Batman. So anyway,
yeah,
it's a good one.
I've heard that in more or less different words or in the same. Like people are definitely talking about it as like a pinnacle Batman. I actually have been meaning to pick it up, and then luckily I've got Ace who like reads every freaking comic. Man, that dude's on top of it when it comes to like what comics to read and stuff like that. He might even be a good resource to hit up for your thing. Like I bet he'd give you a list of awesome stuff to read.
For sure, and Comic Den, you guys should check it out because once again, he's on here. He's in the chat right now. The Comic Den, he's got a great YouTube channel where he goes through these wonderful comic books and talks about what's awesome about them, which ones suck, what he's reading, and has other folks on and everything. So check it out for sure.
But yeah, so there's that. I need to get myself back onto it. This is actually another one that he got me in, which I've been another one I just been meaning to read it forever, and then he hooked me up with it. But Southern Bastards.
Oh yeah.
I'm on the third trade, I think, of that one right now, and it's like I have a stack of books sitting on my nightstand, but like I said, like when I'm in this zone here, as soon as I hit the bed, I go to sleep.
For sure.
I don't end up reading it, and so I just need to get in a better zone about that. But and then, of course, just like always, I've got my animes to talk about. I just watched one called A Demon Hunter, which is really good. And I just finished one. I don't remember if I know I talked about this one, but I don't remember if I talked about that I finished it. But it's called Do Ro Ro Ro.
Yeah, I remember you saying that, and I made fun of it. Just because it's fun to say.
I finished it. It is my favorite kind of anime. It is one season. It is 24 episodes, and then it's done. There's nothing more to come of it. Just a beautiful, all-encompassing story. It was awesome. It was so good. It ended, and I wanted to clap, even though no one was going to hear me.
That's pretty awesome, man. Do Momo Ro Ro?
Yes.
Yeah, I nailed it. Yes.
That one, you dick.
Yeah, that one. Cool, man.
But yeah, no, it was super good. And I'm all about samurai and demons and all that kind of stuff. So I was super in on that one from the beginning, and then it was nothing but just one awesome hit episode after another, and then it ended, and I was just like, yes, more. So is that another Netflix thing? That one was on Prime, but it's not like a Prime show. That's just who happened to be streaming it. Okay.
So say that again for folks if they're interested.
Yeah, it's DRORORO and Do Ro Ro. Do Ro Ro. Yeah.
Just keep typing in those letters until it comes.
Yeah, right. It'll auto-populate it. It'll tell you how many ROs to do.
Very cool, man.
But that's been pretty much it. I watched, a couple of random other crap in between, but nothing has been yes, as much as those ones were.
Very cool. I can't recall if I've really seen much lately. I felt too guilty because I haven't gotten enough done to really let myself watch too much. But comics always feel good, right?
Right.
So if you heard me say it once, 1,000 times at this point, I'm on a cartoonist kayfabe kick. And one of the people is Ed Piskor, and the other one is Jim Rugg. And I had gotten some Ed Piskor comics, Hip Hop Family Tree, which we've been seeing in shops for a while, and then X-Men Grand Design is up, so I've got one of those books. And I love his work. I love this stuff. And Jim Rugg Jim Rugg's the other like main guy behind it, and I finally was able to pick up one of his books and one of his. He's been with this character for a while, kind of doing different iterations and different books. And man, I really fell in love with this comic and love Jim Rugg even more because just from hearing his perspective about comics and talk about stuff, I've learned a lot, and just like how to look at stuff and pick it apart more and what to look for. And when you're hearing like what sticks out in a comic to a cartoonist, that's a valuable lesson. And so then what does an artist like that who just loves comics, when he goes to make his own comic, what does it look like? And it's just super cool. The cartooning is fantastic. If I first open it up on the shelf not knowing, it might not be the thing that I necessarily respond to. But because of his reputation, I got it and I sat down with it, and it did not take very long at all for me to completely fall in love with it and the choices that he was making. I don't know, man. I can't speak highly enough about it. This is an older one called the Street Angel After School Kung Fu Special. So there's, you'll see ninjas and kung fu fights, and she saves the world from time to time. She's basically like, she's like an 8th grader, and she's like the most hardcore 8th grader / probably just like person you'd run into ever. And she's highly trained and highly skilled. But there's also a Street Angel book coming out soon that if you go to your local comic shop and ask them to pre-order it, you can get a pre-order in for it. But I can't say enough, and I'm going to feature it on an episode of Read More Comics. Because it's obviously those guys that I'm doing it because of, and yeah, it's super cool cartooning, and everyone should be checking this stuff out. But yeah, that's the main thing I want to talk about. The other thing I found out, I know you, David, you still haven't been watching enough Cartoonist Kayfabe, and pretty soon you'll catch on and you realize how awesome that is. Only in time.
Hey, how do you know I haven't watched a few things?
Well, you haven't watched enough, I know that. Because as soon as you do watch it, you'll be like, dude, you were right. This stuff is amazing. You're gonna love it. But
I watched that Screen Tone one for sure, though.
That is cool. That's a more subdued one, obviously, but yeah, it's very helpful. So Jason Latour, obviously one of my favorite artists. I talk about here often as well. The artist and co-creator and sometimes writer, more often than, I don't know, of Southern Bastards. He's the half of Southern Bastards at least, and he's also one of the creators behind Spider-Gwen, and writer of Spider-Ham as well. I don't know, a lot of good stuff. But I love his artwork, and now on YouTube, just find Jason Latour, Latour, and he's got a series out called The Drawl, Drawl. And it's him sitting down and talking with artists and just having conversations. It's very much his comedians in cars getting coffee, only it's him chatting with cartoonists, conversing with cartoonists at conventions and other places. But he's really kind of putting some cool filming into it and just kind of doing his thing, being a creative guy, and now expressing that through these interviews this way, which is not just more of, honestly, like us just sitting here talking and having an interview host on, but he's got multi-cameras set up and microphones and really producing some cool stuff, but also sitting down with people like Chip Zdarsky and Jerry Dugan, and just all kinds of good people and having good conversations. So check it out. When you're done checking us out, I mean, right?
No, like just get off right now and just go check it out.
Cut it off. We're done.
That's a wrap.
That's really the main thing I had on my docket, man. It's the same stuff for me this week, so just plugging away.
Right. You are really good at that. You always find something like new creators to get stoked about. I always like that.
There's just, we're in an era of a lot of really good resources, and YouTube is a place where everyone's going, and even established creators like Jason Latour and Jim Rugg and Ed Piskor and Tom Scioli. They're already established cartoonists, but they're like, hey, there's this YouTube thing. How can I join in, but also put my creative mind towards it? And I really respect that, because like that's what you and I are trying to figure out with stuff like this show, but also doing your tips in a time lapse, or drawing inspiration, or read more comics. YouTube, I don't know. We're gonna see some cool stuff from cartoonists here, so it's a good community. So take part.
Yeah, we always say that a lot, but I like to just say as much as we can. Yeah, community is definitely the word for it. There's just so much cool stuff to find out there, and then become a part of, and not just like passively absorb or enjoy, but like getting into the conversation and stuff that I kind of love.
For sure, man. I feel like that's a pretty good sort of signing off point. We really appreciate everybody joining in the chats, both on the Facebook side and on the Instagram side. I feel like I was a little bit more nervous tonight, not because we haven't done this 1,000 times, but maybe because it's been a couple weeks, and then just knowing that like we're on 2 stages at once. I don't know, man.
Oh, right. Yeah.
But, thanks very much for your hard work to get this stuff together, David. I do appreciate it.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like it's in the same vein as what you've been talking about, of just like wanting to learn something new, like jumping in with the technology and really feeling like there's something out here for me to learn, and finding it out and stuff.
It is pretty fulfilling once you figure the thing out.
Yeah, I am, and this is my chance to give this little plug. I'm a little disappointed. This ended up being pretty cool, and I gave it its chance, but the way I found out to do this that didn't work last week was going to be freaking sweet. And I put a lot of time into like making graphics and logos and designs and stuff, and little things are going to scoop across the screen and all kinds of awesome stuff. But like, unfortunately, I'm coming to you, like my best kind of thing at home is my Surface Pro, but I'm the kind of guy who buys the old version and waits for the new version to come out, so the old version gets cheaper. And my Surface just wasn't fast enough. Like my computer just doesn't have the processing power to stream, hold on to 2 people at the same time, like share the bandwidth. It was a whole mess, and so it just wasn't enough. But in the future, if I ever upgrade and it gets better, we're definitely going to try it out, because it looked awesome and there was some really good stuff that we could do.
All in due time.
This is pretty cool too. If we ever decide to pay for this service, just to give out a shout out to StreamYard, the little up there in the corner there, our little watermark is because we're just like trying out the free version here. But if we do pay for this, there's some cool stuff you can do with like brand. I can change the colors of everything, and like I can put up logos and graphics and all that kind of stuff. So,
well, for now, man, this especially with what we're doing here for this part of it, the most important thing is that you and I can kind of get together, do the art check, help keep each other accountable, and hopefully from time to time, amongst all the turds, drop a gem or 2 along the way as well. That you guys, whether it's a cool comic book or a struggle that we're going through, or a lesson that we're learning that we can pass off to you guys. Yeah, we're enjoying it, that's for sure. So I'm glad we're just able to kind of get together and do this, especially you being in Kansas City, me being in Bellingham, Washington. Pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Yep, I do agree.
All right.
Well, do you want to?
Yeah, when I'm not here in 2 places at once, on YouTube and Facebook, you can find me on Instagram at Mr. Green Draws, mr.greendraws. And keep an eye out Wednesday on YouTube. I'll also put a link to it on Facebook for Read More Comics, episode 1.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And then,
how about you, David?
Same thing from the beginning. Art of Mr. Fleming, you're going to find my Instagram. And if you don't already follow me, get with that, because that's where the good stuff happens. The Facebook, thanks for everyone who popped in and out of the Facebook chat. We appreciate you guys. We will share this across all of our different stuff too, the I'd Rather Be Motivated, or I'd Rather Be Drawing Facebook, and my Facebook artist page and all that good stuff. I really like this. If this works as smoothly as it works tonight, we're definitely going to keep it rolling, because I really like not being too limited on this in terms of platform and being able to share it across and around and stuff like that. So yeah, just keep you guys' eyes peeled for the good stuff coming down the pipeline. The comic, Scott's comic, and Analog Missions Round 2.
Word.
All right, now it's going to look weird here for a second, I think, because I'm going to have to unplug this, plug this back in, and end the broadcast. So if it gets weird, I'm warning you.
I'll try to make my face weirder than whatever happens. That way I distract.
I couldn't tell if you were purposely like.
Is it working?
It's definitely working. And we are definitely still alive. I'm going to
Only
keep
one
up
of the
for as long as
broadcasts
possible.
ended. I got to weird out my face. Okay, here we go.